Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
It's among the world's most modern motorsport facilities. Kansas Speedway opened for business in 2001, some 15 miles west of Kansas City, Kansas. And here tonight for the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series, it's the round of 8. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, and alongside me tonight, a little change up in the broadcast booth. We have the Overtake iRacing League admin, Alex Healy, up here in the booth with us tonight. Alex, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Yusuf Ghali is the main topic that we have to talk about pre-race because he's been dominant. And in this final round of 8, I gotta say, he's the fan favorite.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yusuf has been just on fire for almost the entire season, but especially as of late, he has been on it. He has a pretty sizable points gap headed into this penultimate round before the championship. And if your money's not on Yusuf, I think you might be making the wrong decision.
Points coming up on your screen right there, and it's a 19-point lead coming into this final round of 8 over James Silver's Jonathan Cofield, who's turned it up here as of late. Radburn Shutter's kind of on the fallback, but there's 2 racetracks that really favor the 44. When we go to Martinsville and Bristol here in the next 2 weeks, he could really turn this season around.
Yep, obviously anything can happen any given week, but especially at Martinsville and Bristol. With the car count, it's going to be hard for guys to really lose a lot of points between rounds. So with that said, really anybody here still has a great shot to move on to the championship 4, but as far as pointing themselves in, like you said, Radburn is a short track specialist of sorts. But I wouldn't count out Eric Hutton, Brandon Holder, John Schwartz, Nick, any of these guys. If the time is right, they are capable at any track. All of these guys are very, very talented drivers. I've had the pleasure of racing with them, and, well, they're part of the reason I keep my little butt down in the truck series.
Track map coming up on the screen. Kansas Speedway, of course, built back June 1st, 2001. 17-degree banking, and it's going to be kind of follow the leader on the outside after about 10 laps. Guys are going to work their way up the racetrack. It's how long you can save tires on the bottom, but it's going to be very difficult to pass. Of course, this Cup car, you can downshift and get a little more turn into the corner, and that could help drivers overall get into a better situation later in the run. However, we do have a lot of racing going here with the track race analysis. 160 laps. That's plenty of time for these tires to fall off. 5 available in the pits and the stage lap at lap 50. So some of these guys might take 2 tires. We'll have to wait and see what the strategy is. It's been kind of favorable here for the Cup car, and overall I think it could pay off, especially if you have a little short stint where you could get track position. I don't know what your opinion is on that, Alex, but 2 tires has paid off for some of these guys through the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's up until this season, it's not a tactic that I've employed on a regular basis. I like to, if I'm coming down pit road, I prefer to take 4. But like you said, a short stint really sets you up to take 2 and maybe gain some spots on pit road. And with the way this track races, not real bad on the inside, so a short stint might be, maybe even 15 or 20 laps. Hard to say. As the race develops, maybe we'll get a little reporting from some of these guys and give us some updates on how the tires are wearing.
Well, let's take your track side now and get that grid up on the screen. Starting on the pole here tonight, the guy that just didn't make the top 8. It's the 08 of Daniel Cunningham, a 30.488. He'll start on the inside of John Schwartz. David Farmer and James Silvers will be row number 2, and then it goes on to Jonathan Cofield and Eric Hutton for row number 3. 7th and 8th will go to the points leader, Yusuf Ghali. Angelo Horonis making his debut here tonight. And rounding out your top 10, it's going to be AJ Stravato in the 33, Brandon Holder in the number 9.
And just to catch you there, Angelo is a new driver to the league, and the H in his last name is silent.
It is. Let's get it here. Let's get it live here. We didn't quite get through the grid here. We're a little off on sorts, but the Overtake iRacing League is racing for the Final 4 in Nashville. Here we are at Kansas tonight, into turn 1.
Back 2x2 through the field as we see guys starting to maybe already find their way to the top here a little bit.
Looks like the 48 of Lucas Lyons is already trying, actually John Schwartz, sorry about that. He's already trying the high line on the outside of David Farmer.
As well as Silvers there. He's running what I call the $40 t-shirt line. If you're not almost knocking the wall down, you go buy that man's t-shirt, it's going to cost you 40 bucks. And we've got trouble. 44 spun.
Oh no, for Shutters, that is not good news. The 67 of Michael Cole involved as well. Maybe a piece of Rahubi.
15 of Matt Grenier was there as well.
Let's take it back on the VSPEED instant replay and figure out what exactly went wrong here. Quite a few guys involved in this, so.
Yep. Radburn did just mic up and claim that it was on him. Let's see what we've got here.
Back it up one more time here. This is going into turn 2 where it begins. They're a little bit offset 3 wide.
Moves Matt down there a touch. Just a little snap right there. Maybe a little too early back to the throttle.
Touch the apron just slightly there. Back it up one more time. We'll take it on the blimp camera. You're going to see this touch on the apron. It just snaps that car free.
Yep. Hate to see that. Radburn's one of the best dudes in this league, and as we were talking about before the race, he's capable at just about any track, but he's got a long way to go tonight now. As we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 takers on pit road, it looks like.
So back to the live shot, being let in here by Jonathan Cofield from the 9th position now. A few of these drivers probably just going to top off with fuel to make sure they can make it to the stage. That's exactly the case here. If you can extend this run, maybe drive it a little wide open. I know a lot of these guys were going to try to make it otherwise, but you probably had to conserve a little bit until the end of the run. Now, these guys from 9th on back could probably afford to go all the way every lap.
That would be my assumption. We'll see how these guys up front treat it. I don't expect them to be taking it easy on the restart necessarily, but over the course of the run, we might see some comers and goers.
So the 08 of Daniel Cunningham, who started on the pole, is going to maintain the lead. The top 4 have not changed positions whatsoever. It's Cunningham, Schwartz, Farmer, Silvers. Then you have Eric Hutton, who's up 1. Angelo Horonis up 2. But a lot of these positions gained had to do with some of those guys coming down pit road from about the 5th place on back. There was random cars, and I think right now in the situation, you had an early wreck, you had an early mistake, maybe pre-race jitters got the best of the 44. Unfortunately, that catches with the 21. The 15 has some damage. A couple drivers involved in that. You see Matt Grenier coming back down pit road to get some of that repaired. Lucas Lyons, who dodged the accident, is going to be about where he was when that accident started because he came down pit road as well.
I do have to say, for the guys that were not involved, it's one of my favorite positions to be in, where you've successfully completed the initial start. You kind of know what's going to happen, get some of those butterflies out, and feel really prepared on this next restart.
Of course, you got John Schwartz there on the outside. I talked to him a little bit pre-race there. He said, I really hope Yusuf Ghali does go out there and win every single race here, because that's probably my only shot to make it. However, in these next 3 races, Alex, if you win, you're in. You're locked in. So out of these 3 races, there's going to be one guy that's probably going to point their way in.
Yep.
If you go out here and get a win, this is the defining moment. And a lot of these guys want to do it at Kansas. But let's try it again for the 2nd time today. Into the restart zone, back green flag racing in the heartland of America.
Good restart for Cunningham there. Going to run right up to the top. Driver down through the bottom. Looks like Farmer's going to clear as well with Hutton in tow.
Farmer got a good run there out of turn 2. He's going to bring it right up to the back bumper and dive to the inside. Challenge for the lead.
This is the time to make it happen early in the run. If you want to pass on the inside, you better do it very early because that stuff's not going to play later on.
Car in the wall back there. That was James Silvers, and John Schwartz now on the rebound. He's going to try to take the high line into 1 and 2. The door is open here. Farmer could get clear, but it's probably going to take a hard charge and a slide. Oh, close
big
bumper.
Move there. Yeah, that's what Farmer had to do there. If you get stuck on the bottom there for 2 or 3 turns in a row, he's going from second to 6th. Tight racing there.
Almost some contact there between him and Schwartz. The front end washes up on the 48. He slides all the way to the outside, but now he has the charge. He's hanging with the leader. Looks like this car already working the high line.
Yep, it's no secret. The top is where the speed's at here. I prefer to have a little longer stint on the bottom to start a run, but as soon as one guy goes, everybody has to follow him. That's just, you have to, or you're going to get shuffled all the way to the back.
And I might be geeking out a little bit here, fanboying for the Ghost Energy Creamsicle, but if you haven't tried that, checks in the mail from Ghost Energy, I guarantee it here at VSPEED. But that is the best flavor ever invented for any drink.
I have to agree. I have to agree. I went to a race in Atlanta a couple years ago. Camped out with my buddies, didn't eat a whole lot, and the next morning I had a Ghost Energy for the first time. It was the orange creamsicle because it is the best flavor that there's ever been, and I had an amount of energy that felt illegal.
Yeah, it should be illegal. I don't know what they put in that stuff, but it's not fit for human consumption. A little bit of 3 wide there. 17 to Silvers cuts the nose on Schwartz down the backstretch. Almost some contact again with the 9 holder, and the 87 now on the outside. Eric Hutton into the top 3 for the first time today.
Looks like he might drag Schwartz. Well, Schwartz had a little run off there. Now he's in the draft. Silver's kind of pinned down on the bottom. I don't think he'll be able to clear Hutton here.
We talk about it time and time again, but this Cup car especially is bad with dirty air. It's so aero dependent to get that front end to dig into the track and actually steer through the corner. That line that Schwartz has right now, you can see even the 17 in the wake of the 08 washing up the racetrack. Unless you have that progressive banking to keep this car turning, it's very difficult to keep it in that corner.
Yep, if you guys are watching the Cup Series on Sundays, you've no doubt heard everybody complaining recently about aero blocking, and you're going to see your fair share of it tonight, I think.
An interesting line here for Jay Farmer as he goes to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to slide up in front of Hutton, who gives him a little bang there on the back bumper.
If that was a little bang, I'd hate to see a big one, Bradley.
Hey, he didn't turn him.
He didn't turn him.
That was just, hey, I was there. Farmer running that low line is he's trying to save the tires for when we get later into this run. Kind of smart, though. He is the control car here on these lines. He could probably afford to do that 1 or 2 more laps, but Hutton's going to get to the outside one of these times. He's not going to lift.
40, Yusuf Ghali is pitting here. I did not see what happened to him. Let me go back here.
He might be on fuel. He might be pulling a fuel strategy here.
Yeah, nothing going back a few laps. I didn't see anything out of the way. He just wasn't up in that lead pack, so maybe cutting his losses here.
Well, you can remember the 3rd race of the chase. He had actually sped on pit road. Thankfully, a caution had bailed him out, got him back into contention, but he had got all the way to the front before he made that mistake, raced his way all the way back up there towards the end of the race. I mean, that's the guy right there. So if there's any bet here that Yusuf Ghali isn't winning this race because he had to just pit right now, don't count him out. There's a good chance that he'll come back.
Yeah, I know the odds in Vegas are moving, but they better move a whole lot before I bet against Yusuf tonight.
77, Lucas Lyons trying to take away the 2nd position. Almost some contact. There was some wall contact there.
3 wide. Brandon Holder up to P3. Love to see it.
there's another driver that's kind of been sleeping here since the second round began. He really kind of went dormant, but it's kind of like a volcano. It goes quiet for a few years, and it can erupt at any second. The 9 pushing his way towards the front of the field on the back bumper of Hutton here. Just so difficult to pass.
Yep, you see there in the middle of the turn, he entered high and moved down a lane to get out of that dirty air. Did not work out for him there, though.
And he's even peeking the nose there below Hutton's line. It's helping him here as the door is still open. Drives it right up there alongside Farmer and right up onto the back bumper of Hutton.
Yeah, now Dave is in a very bad situation. He's got to find a hole here.
Look at all that momentum he lost.
Yep, no such luck.
48 of Schwartz is going to get to the outside. He's probably going to lose another position. The 77 of Lyons going to follow suit. They are downshifting. Confirmed here for the 77 going through that corner. At what point, though, Farmer is pretty much dedicated to that bottom line. He's going to have to move it up the racetrack. He's hemorrhaging positions right now.
Well, another aspect to this, and it's not a huge difference, but he is saving fuel down there. He did not pit earlier, so that might be a component as well.
While we say all of that, Eric Hutton has taken over the lead position. He's led 2 laps now, started back in 6th. He is leading Brandon Holder, John Schwartz, Lucas Lyons, and James Silvers on that top 5. Holder's going to peak for the lead now to the bottom at 3 and 4. And of all the cars that have run that middle line, the 9 has looked the strongest. Here he is, making a battle for the lead.
Yeah, Hutton tagged the wall just a touch there on exit and allowed Holder to build a little momentum there. Got to try and make it stick here, though. He is clear. There it is.
He's not
there
clear.
it is.
Into the wall. That's a hard tag there for the 9. He's got heavy right side damage. Let's take that back to the replay.
Yeah, I understand that's a risk you got to take sometimes, but maybe a little early in the race for my taste.
Slides right up in front of Hutton there. Hutton did not cut him a break at all. And that's contact with the outside wall. He loses about 4 spots, 5 spots maybe. Back to the live shot, though. He has rebounded. He's back on the outside of Silvers for 4th.
Yeah, whatever amount of damage he has does not seem to be affecting him at this point, but as the tires wear, that could change. Yep, 17 into the wall behind him.
And that allows Farmer back up to 6th. Cunningham kind of came and went there. He led some laps, got tag teamed there on the outside. You had quite a few people trying to get around him. But once you get pinned down there on the inside, they're just going to go one right after another. The same thing happened to Farmer. But Farmer was purposely running that bottom, opening up that door. I think we're not done with the comers and goers, though, because Schwartz is turning the heat back up. Looks like Holder's on the rebound. Almost some 3 wide there off of 4.
Yep. Lyons, I don't think he tagged the wall, but he definitely had to get out of the gas, and that's what allowed Holder to get side by side momentarily, but just didn't have the room to accelerate off the exit like he'd like.
And you go back here about 2.5 seconds. The top 8 have pulled away 2.3, 2.4 seconds over AJ Stravato in the deeper into the field. Just outside the top 10, you have Blake Hensley behind Jonathan Cofield. This would be for the 10th spot. But I think the difference maker here, you're seeing a lot of these guys dedicated to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yep, and we just saw James Silvers come down pit road.
To the 17. That pretty much confirms that these guys that pitted during that last caution are in a better seat for this stage break than the rest of this field that didn't, which is pretty much the top 7, top 8 drivers right now. I think everyone on back here, that cooler tank of fuel may be affecting the handling as well.
Yeah, which Farmer is one that had not pit. He has been dedicated to that low line. We'll see if that is enough fuel savings to get him there.
But he's definitely saving tires with this line. We talked about it there a few times in the pre-race with some guys that you can run the bottom probably the first 12 or so laps, save those tires if you can afford it. It'll help on that outside run. However, when you get up on the outside, you're going to have dirty air. So you got to kind of pace yourself with your passes, or if you're going to follow a guy for a few laps, it could undo any tire saving that you worked on.
Yep, and again, we have John Schwartz on pit road now, so they're kind of trickling in, and this is always the big question when you realize you're not going to make it. Do you want to go ahead and cut your losses and come in and get fuel, or looking like what the 84 car is doing right now, do you stay out and either hope you can make it or hope for a caution?
They're still jumbled up here from second back to the 6th position. Angelo Horonis there on the end of that. Lucas Lyons in 2nd spot. Eric Hutton has pulled out just about 8/10, almost 9/10 now as they cross the back stretch. I'm interested to see because he's out here all by himself. Will he bring it down pit road soon?
Just had, Dave completed the pass, and then I think big checkup. Lucas Lyons got into the back of the 84 pretty hard there.
And now 3 wide as they go into turn 1. Horonis on the outside. He's going to get a 3-for-1 special here after that contact with the wall. So put Horonis up to P2. We've seen this top 5 change hands probably every single lap since we began, coming on for lap 29.
So you're taking a close look at this 84 car right now. It's got some damage on the right side. Rear bumper, despite that pretty big hit, is still looking intact though. Lucas got a pretty good piece of him. And now Lucas is calling out. He's coming to pit road.
So the 77 going to bring it down this time by. They have allowed Stravato a little bit of time back. He has shaved their gap down to about 1.5. That's the 33 in the mirror here, looking back from the 08 of Daniel Cunningham. So I think now you're starting to see where those guys that had came down pit road or maybe were saving fuel early in this run are starting to come back on the approach. It might have been just a matter of fuel saving.
Yep, the one I still have my eye on is the 84 car. He's seems dedicated to maybe running this thing empty, and perhaps he's saving enough fuel, but not confident in that. 21 just got into the wall there just a touch. Hubie.
Hubie is actually catching on the inside. There's the outside line, the 45 who brought it down pit road a little bit earlier in this race. Probably about lap 15 or 16. He was very early on the pit road. He can afford to run this all the way out, though. I'm interested to see where he ends up after this all cycles through, because I can almost guarantee the top 5 are going to come down pit road.
Well, with Yusuf right now, he is in not a great position. He is the 3rd car, 1 lap down currently. Well, now 2nd car, 1 lap down, so not in the lucky dog position.
That'll be John Schwartz in the 48. Who's just ahead of him here. He came down a little bit later. He'll have fresher tires than the 45. And he's looking to set sail. He might get his lap back the old-fashioned way here as he sets his sights on Eric Hutton.
He's out here living the American dream, pulling himself up by his bootstraps.
That's what you got to do here at Kansas. It's, I mean, it's built right there in the middle of a cornfield. So you can either race this track or you can work out there.
Or option 3, you can walk over there to the casino and test your luck.
Yeah, the infield casino. It's like right there on the back of the backstretch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll see it on the exit of 3, kind of middle backstretch. About as it has to be the closest casino to a racetrack in America. And I can vouch for that because I've been to Vegas.
So we get a good look at it here from the dash of the 48. Just over that wall there. But yeah, this is one of those racetracks that all amenities are provided. Like we said in the pre-race, it's a very modern complex.
You know, you have to, man. You're in the middle of Kansas. outside of good barbecue, I don't know what else we got to do out here, man. If we got any Kansas watchers out there, I'm not making fun of you. I'd love for you to tell me what you guys do for fun.
I believe they invented cornhole in Kansas.
You know, I could make a joke about it, but this is a PG broadcast.
AJ Servato is going to get by, or get past. He's going to come down pit road now. He was trying his luck there on Rafael Hubi, but backed it up. He'll be the next car on pit road on lap 36. Eric Hutton's still out there on the racetrack. We're approaching just about 15. This is 15 to go to the stage break. Are these guys saving any fuel?
Yeah, if somehow these top 4, if they do not have to pit, Yusuf Ghali is going to have a hard way to go, because I do not foresee him catching John Schwartz at this juncture in the race.
45 of Ghali is the lucky dog position, but he has Brandon Holder there on the outside with a lot fresher tires on that 9.
Yeah, that's my mistake there. I still thought John was a lap down. I forgot he did it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I got back around there, so Schwartz will be the last car on the lead lap in 11th position, but Holder to the outside. He will be the lucky dog spot here for the stage break. These guys in the top 10 pray that they can make it on fuel. They came in and topped off there during that first caution. Rafael Hubi is leading that group. It's Hutton, Farmer, Cunningham, and Hronis that still have to pit.
Cunningham, Hutton, Hronis, all pitting here.
So there's the answer. That is a bailout for Yusuf Ghali.
84 coming. Yep, everyone is saved. Valiant effort. Hutton, pretty big lockup. Entering pit road, gets it gathered up.
So now the question is, can Rafael Hubi make it to the end? He has about a 4.5 second lead over Blake Hensley in the 31.
And he is on that same strategy. He is 35 laps into this run. And yep, Hensley is as well. Nick Mills is 34 laps into his run. Be interesting to see if that 1 lap difference comes into play here.
We'll top off with fuel. Sometimes that's all you need. 5.2 now across the line for lap 40. Hubi's not saving anything. He's definitely driving it for all she's worth to keep stretching out that lead. Grenier's going to get by for the second spot here on the outside. It's been a little bit of a different race. We got a lot of non-contention in the playoffs. Playoff drivers up front for the end of this stage. Nick Mills would be the first playoff driver. He is in 4th spot right now, and they are saving fuel back here.
And that would be huge for Nick. And like I said, he's got an extra lap of fuel versus QB and Hensley. Let's see. Grenier's on 36 laps on this run, so he's in the same boat as Nick. So if these guys can make it, that'd be a real big shakeup. It's going to help Nick a ton if he can accrue some playoff points here at the stage.
And he's going to dive to the inside of Matt Grenier for the 3rd spot. On and off the clutch, kind of changes the transition, but they have a lot of hungry, faster cars coming up on the outside here with the 29 of Hronis.
You see Stravato getting real tight with Farmer there. Farmer coming through. Get out of the way.
These guys dedicated, not losing positions here to the 29, the 84, or the 33, but they are just trying their best to stay in a situation where they can gain something. Mills still trying to pass for position. The 29 of Hronis was the first car to meet this group, but he'll be the last one through it.
And I cannot confirm, but based on the pit cycle times I'm seeing, it appears that David Farmer has at least 2 fresh tires, if not 4.
Seems to be working for him, though, as he is working up through. However, it's a pretty big gap here, even after they lap themselves, and we've only got 6 laps to go when Blake Hensley crosses the line. So it looks like Hoobie had to bring it down pit road. He's not going to make it.
This is lap 41 of this stint for Blake. Lap 40 for Nick Mills, though. Same for Grenier. Oh, here comes Blake.
So not going to make it here for the 31.
He calls it out. So now we got to see if Matt has been saving fuel, and that is something that he does not mind doing. He's pretty dang good at it, if I have to say so myself.
He's
Been
actually
racing with
hitting
this guy for several years.
He's hitting the clutch all the way back in the tri-oval. As soon as he exits that tri-oval banking, he's on the clutch pedal. So Matt still has to catch up to Nick Mills, though. Mills also on that save strategy. The 88, your leader here. 5 to go, 4 to go when they cross the line. 4 more laps here. This could be an excellent points day for Nick Mills.
This would be massive for Nick. I think he's in the bottom 3 of the 8, so if he can score well here, this is gonna just might be the beginning of some new luck for Nick.
2 more times around here after he comes out of turn 4.
And at this point, I think these guys are dedicated. They're gonna see this through for better or worse.
Even if you get the stage and you have to coast it back around and hit pit road when it's closed, you might just take that gamble.
Yeah, as small as the field is tonight, I wouldn't blame him. We'll see. Hoobie is headed back. See if he can catch up to Nick here and get his lap back. I don't know.
He's on pace to do so, but white flag in the air now for the stage break. Nick Mills, one more time around to get the stage victory. Matt Grenier, Jonathan Cofield, John Schwartz, and Brandon Holder, the top 5. A race that's been dominated pretty much from the start by the 87 of Hutton. It looks like Nick Mills is going to have enough fuel here.
Yep, no pressure from behind. I think hopefully he knows that, and he's taking it easy to reserve some fuel to get around here. I see Grenier very slow right now. He's comfortable with his position.
They cross the line. They got another half mile here through 3 and 4 to get your 10th place driver. Yusuf Ghali getting past. So Angelo Horonis, AJ Stravato get around him, and it's going to be Stravato nags away some points from your playoff contenders. So Nick Mills gets a big capital on the day here, because if you want to go through this field, there's only, I believe, 4 drivers that are in the playoffs.
And a side effect of what just happened there, we'll see if anything comes of it. Since Nick and Matt had such a large lead, they've actually had to run an extra lap. It looks like they're going to be okay, but I'm sure there's some sweaty palms right now.
Yeah, he's going to let this thing roll all the way past the pace car. Let the pace car get back by him. He's going to have to coast all the way through 3 and 4 to bring it down pit road. But kudos to Mills and Grenier, Schwartz, all the top 5 for doing what they had to do here. It's cutting it close. I would love to bring the 88 up after pit stops and figure out how much fuel he had left on this stint.
Yep, we got to talk to this guy. We got to see if this was the plan all along.
So up on the screen real quick here, that was your top 10 for the stage. Mills, of course, getting it all the way back to Stravato, getting the points and into the box. You don't want to miss it. The 88's going to get it here.
Mills and Grenier safely made it. the gamble worked.
Little contact there on pit road, but
And you
there's
got to
John
remember,
Schwartz.
with the 15, he was involved in that first incident. He stuck with it, stuck to his guns, believed in the strategy, and comes out P2 at the stage.
So down and away, and the top 10 remain about the same here. This is a great opportunity, though, to bring up Nick Mills. Nick Mills, Bradley Cooper, Alex Healy up in the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Nick, the first question I got to ask you, how much fuel did you have left?
I had 0.2 of a gallon when I got into my stall. I was praying for them to throw that caution.
Yeah, I thought we were...
I was down to like 150 mile an hour there going into turn 3.
Yeah, I knew we were going to come close because of how far ahead you guys were. You were having to run, I think, longer than you expected. But I'm glad it worked out for you, man.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch any of the in-car stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you were
yeah.
watching as soon as you left the banking in the triangle.
Oh, I was shutting the car off and clutching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have to go for broke in this round in order to make it to the championship 4. So.
Well, this is about as good of a start as you could ask for, I think.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Well,
So I'm not very good here on the long run though, so we'll see. See how it
Nick,
shakes
you got
out.
the position, buddy. So try to hold it up there as long as you can.
We'll try to save some here, save tires. We'll see.
Good luck, buddy, as we'll get set to double back up here for stage number 2. Nick Mills, congrats on the stage win, buddy.
Thank you.
That's my insurance agent.
Ritz Racing driver in the number 88. Going to get the stage 1 victory. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. Step away. Pay some bills. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League live on VSPEED. More coverage continues. Stage number 2 coming up right after this. Back here live from Kansas for stage number 2. It's underway with Nick Mills, the stage winner, leading them into turn 1.
Some fresh faces up front. I love to see it.
11 positions gained for your top 2 here.
It's like Grenier maybe generating a good run. Nope, little loose there.
Got a little loose there on the high line. That more banking there stepped it out. Cold tires. And almost 3 wide. 17 of Silvers, 87 of Hutton up into the wall.
3 wide on exit there with Cofield and Lyons.
Here's Stravado putting himself into the mix as well. Going to dive it down to the inside. Who do you follow here? Do you take the high line? Looks like that middle's working pretty well for the 77, but he got a little loose out of 2.
Yep, 88 fades there. Wasn't able to get to the top. Loses that momentum.
Matt Grenier going to lead the first lap of the day for him in the 15 off of turn 4. Car in the wall. Stravado back there in the background. but there's a lap led for the 15.
Around these parts, we call Matt the Godfather. Been racing with this guy since I got into leagues. One of the nicest guys you ever meet. Love to see when he's running well.
He's doing excellent here, but he's got the 17 of James Silvers creeping up on the back bumper. Silvers is actually having the preferred line here, but the 15 going to try to save some tires for later in that run. You remember the 84 Farmer, he tried the low line a lot there. There's the 17 with a great run out of 4. He'll take it to the inside. Matt Grenier going to hold it down, pinch him on the entry, and take the high line out of 2. It looks like he'll have the preferred line down the backstretch.
Grenier fights back as Hutton peeks to the inside of Farmer. Let's see if he can complete a pass on the bottom.
Oh, out of racetrack there for the 77. I was wondering there.
I think maybe a little dirty air there off the 84.
A lot of speed, but not able to take it out of turn 4. He'll lose 10 spots back to 15th position for Lucas Lyons. The 17 of James Silver still working on Matt Grenier. Lap 60 about to be underway. Looks like these cars are getting pretty tight there on the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, seeing some movement, and I kind of want to attribute it just to the dirty air. We're not totally single file, but guys are moving above and below each other, and that can upset the car pretty quickly.
What I'm starting to see some guys migrate to the bottom is the top rubbering up too much as well. Is that maybe affecting the line? These guys are changing it up. Looks like they're hunting for grip a little bit.
The other part of it is just running that top lap after lap after lap. If you make one small mistake, you're knocking the wall down, where if you're running a more conservative line, you've got a little more room for error.
We're looking off the back of Farmer. I think cut him a break there coming out of turn 2. But Matt Grenier is starting to space out a little bit on this lead. He's pulled it out to 2/10 now, the 17 of Silvers. Yellow banner on that machine. He is the highest of these playoff 8 in the running order right now. Coming out of turn 2, he has John Schwartz just behind him. Then it's a battle side by side between Eric Hutton and Dave Farmer into 3.
Amanda, if you're out there watching your husband lead these laps, we're proud of him.
Doing a phenomenal job here tonight at Kansas. 5-6 laps to lead now for the 15. And you have to wonder, he's on that low line a little bit longer than the rest of this field. And he's pulling away, so that speaks volumes about how he knows to get around this racetrack.
He's making it work. When you can get around here on the bottom and not sacrifice time, he is being served his cake, and he is currently eating it.
Stretches it out to 3/10 now. 63 laps into the books here. About 100 to go, just under that mark. Grenier, Silver, Schwartz, Hutton, and Farmer the top 5. Then it goes Cofield, Horonis, Golly, Hensley, and Cunningham. That's your pole sitter. He's back in 10th right now, kind of on the struggle. But these guys maybe in conservation mode. This isn't like the first stint where you're racing for those points. Now you have a guaranteed pit stop somewhere in this mix. You're going to have to bring it back down for 4 tires at some point. And, you know, we're going to stretch this fuel run out as far as it can go, barring there isn't a caution.
Yeah, and from where I'm sitting, we saw guys go just a shade over 40 laps on that run coming to the stage, which obviously a big fuel save there. So doing the math here, and I'm not an expert mathematician, but I don't see a way where everybody doesn't have to pit 2 times on the back here. So I'd be surprised if there's a lot of conservation going on, unless they're on the border of having to pit 3 times. But again, I have an English degree, not a math degree. Numbers are hard.
Numbers are hard. I believe it's a parody made by Psycho Stick of the probably the most hilarious thing I've ever heard from Psycho Stick. I can only count to 4. But I can see right now where that might be a possibility here on the lap count, because they've been out there for 15 laps. You want to tack on another 15 to this, that's 30, right? So 10 more on top. That only puts them to about lap 90. They're going to have to stretch this out, or they might be in that 3 pit stop strategy.
Yep, I'm trying to math it out in my head, but basically we make it to about 90, and then you can go to 125-ish, and then that should get you home, barring a green-white checker. But the edges there are pretty close, so I guess I would understand at least a little bit of saving.
15 maintains the lead, but it's starting to shorten up a little bit here. It looks like Silver's figured something out here on the outside. The 15 might want to move it up a lane here, take away that line.
I don't foresee him doing that. I think he's going to stick to what's worked for him so far, for better or worse. I think he's happy to save a little tire and maybe save a little fuel there down there on the bottom.
This is the defense, though, of giving somebody dirty air and making them use up their stuff. You see the 17 of Silvers actually hits the wall, and that could be something you could do to the guy behind you, is make him repeatedly have to back out on the exit of these corners, and he'll burn the right front up just trying to hang with you. As you see, Silvers actually brings it all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. The 15 doing a great job here maintaining the lead. Looks like Schwartz starting to pull away from Eric Hutton. The gap is about 7/8 tenths of a second. 48 cars starting to turn it up.
Which, interesting watching James Silvers the past 2 or 3 laps. In 3 and 4, he's entering high and kind of driving down to that middle lane. I don't know if that's intentional or just what he's comfortable with, but I gotta feel that's hard on that front right on exit.
He is getting a decent run here out of the exits of the corner, though. It's just where can he take that momentum, because here in 4 he has struggled a lot. As we'll go back on board with him here. He's bringing it down low.
Yep, he drives down to that maybe 2 lanes down from the wall there, and I kind of feel it's counterproductive at this point.
It is getting him a good run. He is hanging with the 15, but where does he take that momentum? Here he goes to the bottom again. This is just one of those follow the leader tracks that you have to just sit back and pace yourself.
And it's got to be a little demoralizing to work this hard to get up on a guy that's running the bottom line. But we are side by side.
So here we are for the lead. 17 going to try to take over the point. Try to get that bonus point. That time by, he did get the lap by.
Yep, he's got the run there. He is clear. And that's going to move Grenier all the way back to 3rd. But okay. Matt still has no interest in that top line. I don't think you're going to get him off the bottom.
It's unfortunate, though, the 15 plenty fast on that bottom. If he just maybe move it up half a lane, he probably could hang with these guys that are getting him on the outside.
We just have to wait and see if this pays dividends later in the run. Maybe he has a little bit tire left with guys.
Pass forward position up to 3rd now as Eric Hutton, the top 3 accordion back together. If you look deeper in this field, there's Angelo Horonis in his debut race trying to get around the 84 of David Farmer. And then even further back, Bradford Shutters, who was caught up on an accident on lap 2 of this race. The 44 back in 11th right now, trying to get around Blake Hensley for the top 10. I want to think back to the regular season where the 44 put some wins together, had some top 5 finishes just all in a row. Really looked like he was refined and ready for the playoffs. And as soon as we hit round 1, problems ensued. He just hasn't had the finishes that he had, the success he had in the regular season. We know he's got the speed. He qualifies and runs up in the top 10 a lot of these races. He just doesn't have that finish to break him out.
He's made a couple of small mistakes. Like tonight, he touched the apron. It's happened to all of us, but puts him in a real bad position behind the 8 ball going forward into playoffs. I did want to touch on, I did see the 15 move up there. And since it's been so long since he's ran the top, I don't think he was super comfortable, and he did tag the wall just a touch.
Just a sense of dragging the brake there on the entry of the corner. He's going to hang it up on the outside here. Jonathan Cofield to the bottom of the racetrack. And he'll get more comfortable with it.
Yeah, that's a part of a longer race like this. You get comfortable in a line, and then you have to adjust, and it takes you a couple laps to figure out your brake points and how much you have to drag the brakes and where you can get back into the throttle on a new line where if you've been running the bottom for 20 laps, going up top can be a little daunting.
And he'll fall back to the 5th spot after leading 16 laps here since the green flag fell. And the guy that was leading and won the stage has fallen back to 11th. That's Nick Mills in the 88.
15 in the grass. He had a big checkup. 84 got into his rear bumper pretty hard there. He's back on track though.
Back to the throttle a little bit too much there on that high line. He had to check up out of the exit of 4. Farmer had nowhere to go. Let's see if we can get another angle of this.
Yeah, I think that's another symptom of him just not being super comfortable up top right now.
It's unfortunate there.
We lost some positions, but his race is not over by a long shot. He's still has a chance to remain competitive here. He's one of the non-playoff drivers that's racing for our non-playoff bonus, which I believe he did win last round, so I know that's on his mind. I'm sure his wife was happy to see him get some money out of sim racing instead of paying into it constantly.
As is mine. As is mine. That initial since 2013 investment is finally coming back.
Yeah, I'm only $7,900 in the hole now, not $8,000.
It's a hobby. It's definitely a hobby. So Schwartz is going to take over the lead. Silvers gives it up there. He started to run a little bit tight on the exit of 4, and that allowed 2 cars by him. Jonathan Cofield. Talk about a guy that's been quiet all race long. Started in 5th, and he's kind of been outside the top 5 for a lot of this. But here he is, challenging for the lead on lap 82. Going to take it to the inside in 3 and 4 here.
He's in the middle. Looks like he's got a decent drive. He's going to clear.
On the bottom, nonetheless, and Jonathan Cofield leads his first lap of the day. Yellow banner on that machine as well. So 5, 6 of the top 10. 7 if you include Nick Mills. He creeped his way back up there tonight now.
Well, don't count Dave. He's not in the playoffs. He's got a banner on there.
Oh,
so
that guy. That guy. Well, you know, I knew that. Unfortunately, I didn't. Oh, contact! The 45's around. Yusuf Ghali into the infield grass. Contact off of turn 4 with Farmer.
No caution.
No yellow, and that will do it probably for Yusuf Ghali if we don't get one.
Just going back and taking a look at it here.
He lost it here on the front stretch as well.
Looks like the 84 was slow on exit, and Yusuf planned to occupy the space where the 84 car remained.
45 of Golly got completely sideways in the grass after the fact. He came back out on the racetrack, lost control again. Big check up there. Let's look at it one more time from the blimp camera.
Yusuf, I'm sorry, buddy. I think we might have talked you up too much in pre-race here.
That puts him back to 15th position, and he is at threat of going a lap down. Those are your leaders just behind him here. He's going to bring it down pit road.
Yep, as we catch up, we got Silvers coming as well, so I would expect the floodgates to maybe be opening here in the next few laps.
This puts him 35 laps, 34 laps on some of these stints here, and that's a lot shorter than they stretched it in that last run, but, you know, they were conserving fuel, so they probably added on 4 or 5 laps to that total for a lot of those drivers. Whereas now they've just been running it wide open. They might have to make it 3 stops here.
Yeah, that's going to put, if they go 35 laps again, that's going to put them pitting at roughly lap 122. So we stack another 35 on that, so 132, 42, 57.
That's going to be close.
Maybe they can stretch it from there, but I think we might have some drama here at the end of the night.
Really close here.
The guys that are still on track, I'd like to think they have the better strategy, which I know Yusuf was, I'm sure he was ready to pit as soon as humanly possible there to mitigate his losses.
Well, the fact that he didn't go a lap down until he hit pit road, that could help him in the long run, but...
Well, he's currently sitting 2 laps down now, and there's James Silvers and Michael Cole 1 lap down, which we'll see how it cycles out with the pits, but not where we thought we'd see the 45 car tonight.
And car in the wall there, that was John Schwartz trying to get around Cofield. I believe it was Cofield that hit the wall in the entry of 1. The big run here down the backstretch for the 48. We tell a guy there's a chance. Is there one guy on this racetrack that if you told him there's a 2% chance of you winning anything at all ever, Jonathan Cofield's going to take that 2% and make it happen. He has clawed his way through this playoff all the way through. He was in must-win situations. He was in must-point-your-way-in situations. He's just done everything he needed to do to be in this top 8. And now he can guarantee himself a slot into that final 4 with a win here. Man, what a relief of pressure. He's been under kind of pressure all the way through the regular season, every step of the way.
And I like his strategy right here. I think he's going to run this one as long as humanly possible. I still expect to see him here in a lap, maybe 2. But I think he's put himself well within the window of being able to one-stop this and have a little left over in case we have some extracurricular racing.
Well, we do have overtime here in the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series. Unlimited green-white checker attempts. Don't think we've ever used the unlimited amount here in the league, but
I think the most we have touched is 3.
yeah, we haven't surpassed that infinity yet. Quote Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond. I don't know how that would go here at Kansas, but we haven't tested those waters yet this season. But, you know, guys are getting hungry and hungrier. We've got a lot of guys that are out of the top 8 that might be thinking, well, I'm going to go out there and place the highest outside of the playoffs. Try to get me a little purse here, and you gotta factor that in. I know Matt Grenier was in that boat. You got a few others like David Farmer that are in that boat as well. Daniel Cunningham, who, let's be honest, if there was a driver that I felt could have made this top 8, he was the one, man. He's having a lot of success in the other series, but here in the Cup just hasn't worked out for him.
Yep, it's hard to translate success from the other two series, not only because of the higher skill in this series, but how much different the Cup car is as we have Cofield and Schwartz down pit lane now.
58 and the 48 down the pit lane. They stretched it 43 laps on this stint. Man, that's about as far as they went the first stage of this race.
It's pretty impressive.
As you watch, there's Yusuf Ghali going across the stripe there. He's going to get one of those laps back, so he will be the first car a lap down. 2 cars yet to pit. Actually, that is everyone because Cofield and Schwartz were on this stint. They are going to zero out here on my timing and scoring, so disregard what I just said. Everyone has cycled out through pit road. James Silvers is going to take back the lead on lap 95. We're going to take a quick commercial break now that we've cycled through pit road. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series in the round of 8, playoff race number 8 as well. More coverage is going to continue right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Kansas Speedway. The Overtake iRacing lead has finished 101 laps as James Silvers comes across the line, your leader right now. Jonathan Cofield is 3.1 seconds back. We're talking about 7 laps of difference in tires here. Silvers is shaving or losing time to Cofield, about 0.2 a lap here. Last time by a 31.3 to Cofield's 31.9, so it's kind of give or take here on when these tires will even out. Silvers could be in a good spot, though. He's maximized his day. He's got some laps led. He could get the most laps led as well.
Yep, and at this point, as you see, Yusuf Golly right there, running right in front of James. He is back on the lead lap. I'm sure he'd love to see some yellow, but if we don't see any yellow, I would expect these guys to be pitting, if they can make it, around lap 125, but I think we have a handful of guys that absolutely cannot make it that far. And actually, Yusuf is one of those guys that had to come in a little early because of that run-in he had there. So he's ready to see some yellow, in my opinion.
There's Michael Cole challenging on the inside to get one of his laps back. The 67 and 16th position right now on much fresher tires than the leader and the 45. Just not able to get the drive out of the corner. Got to go all the way back about 1.3 seconds. John Schwartz got around Cofield. He's up to second now. And he's on much fresher tires as well. And the 48 is on a hard charge last time by. He shaved off 7/10.
Which I wanted to take a second here and give a shout as we see Silvers get into the wall there. That number 67 of Michael Cole we see on the inside. This is one of the most dedicated guys in the league. I don't mean this as an insult, but you don't see him running up front very often, but great guy. He shows up and he has fun racing. As a league owner, these are the kind of guys that you have to have a successful league. So just props to Michael for coming out and showing up and having fun despite whatever result he may or may not have. And hell of a guy. Glad to have him here.
A little contact there with the outside wall for the 67. He allows the 40 or the 58 and the 17 by. Yusuf Ghali is going to go back to one lap down as Schwartz was able to pass him on the outside. He is checking out now. 0.7 of a second over Jonathan Cofield, and the lead's still growing.
And obviously that puts Yusuf back a lap down, but he is in that lucky dog position. So I think his quest remains the same and hoping some yellow fabric flies at some point.
That's what it's going to take here to get the 45 bailed out. Unfortunate for him. He didn't have the greatest starting position either. He started somewhere around the 7th, 8th position. Yeah, 7th position tonight. And for him right now, he's kind of been outside looking in. But if you want to go as far as the next two races, he was already talking about in the post-race interview last week that he wanted to have a good day here today because anything can happen at Martinsville and Bristol. He knows that. He wants to have a good day, but it just hasn't planned or went according to plan, and he's going to have probably a harder time. And that's a shame because of how dominant he was there in round 2.
That is part of this modern playoff system, man. You can be dominant all season. You can be Kevin Harvick and win 10 races and have nothing to show for it when it's all said and done.
So those bonus points do go a long way, though, and those wins did help to get that lead to where it is coming into tonight with the reset of the top 8.
Yep.
Here's his teammate Eric Hutton going by Michael Cole.
Yep, and in spite of him not having a good run tonight, and this is without factoring in stage points, without taking that into account, he should be able to remain in the lead, but obviously he hasn't had a great race, so if one of the guys that was close behind him had a good stage.
There was a little contact there between Hensley and Horonis. I think Hensley thought maybe the 29 was going to cut the tri-oval and didn't.
Blake said, welcome to Overtake iRacing League, buddy.
Little door shake there on the 29, and 31's going to prevail.
He just wanted to rattle his cage, that's all.
You see the dirty air there.
The dirty air.
Best example we've had of it all day. So this field very spread out now. You have to go a full 12 seconds, 19 seconds rather, to Brandon Holder, and off the pace here in the 14th position. Some problems maybe earlier in this race that sets him back to be the last car in the lead lap. 19 seconds back from the lead. Here's another struggle. If you want to talk about guys that just having a bad day, combined with Yusuf Ghali, I would say Radburn Shutters is also just not in a good situation. And we saw that in the last round, or the last race of the second round. The 44 had to maintain a top 15, finished 13th. He was on the edge of that all day long to point his way in. And, you know, it's just, I don't know if there's just these tracks for him aren't fitting his driving style, but something going on here with the 44 team. I think the next 2 weeks will fit more in his wheelhouse, but yeah, today, 12th position right now, and he's had problems. Oh, we got trouble. The 33 is Stravato. Looks like another car, Grenier involved. They have to throw the yellow for this one. Oh, and Yusuf Ghali involved. He's not going to get the lucky dog. That's not what you wanted.
Oh, buddy, there's going to be some discussion after this one.
Matt Grenier heavily involved. I don't think he was the start of this. It was the 33 of Stravato, and it looked like maybe Silvers.
I think when you get a better view of it that I've just seen, neither one of those guys started it.
Does this start here?
I'd recommend focusing on the number 31 car.
All right. So we're a lap ahead of this here. Angelo Hironis is running here. Yusuf Ghali. Wait and see. I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, it looks like for whatever reason, Yusuf was slow there, and kind of two guys getting to the same place at the same time.
And that damage probably going to do it for Yusuf Ghali there.
Yeah, a bad day goes to the worst day for Yusuf, and in the process, James, I think he might be done. He might be able to turn some laps, and Matt's going to be in trouble here. Big shakeup. Yeah, absolute hit there for the 17. Matt pile drives him.
This, of course, our only second caution here tonight. It's man, there's nowhere to go. So Lucas Lyons, who was already out of this race, James Silver's down on pit road, Matt Grenier, Yusuf Ghali coming back into the pits. He's still trying to salvage this day. AJ Stravato, heavy damage on the front end of that machine.
I have to apologize to our listeners there. Usually I'm on the other side of this, whether I'm in a car or doing race control, and as soon as I see people wrecking, my brain instinctually just is like, hey, you just have to say it a lot. So when I say wrecking, that's from a place of instinct and hopefully not a signature call.
No, that's we're memeing it up here at this point. I think that's another sound bit, actually.
That would be the weakest one that I've had so far. I'm pretty partial to giving you a big smooch.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Unfortunately, for some of these guys, they smooch a little too early, and we've got a lot of bent up sheet metal. That's going to do it for probably 3 different drivers.
Yep, in the words of Dan Worthington, it's time to get those mallets out because we got to beat these things back into shape.
Yeah, the 17 of Silvers is also probably done. There's 3 cars down here on pit road that are completely missing the front end of these cars. And that's right there officially going to do it there for the 17. Eric Hutton's going to take over the lead. We got a few drivers that are playing strategy here. Going to come back in and top off with fuel. Cunningham leads Hoobie
Oh,
and
man.
Shutters Hensley.
So we're on lap 118 now when these guys come out of the pits.
That's going to be
It's-
probably, you could make it from here.
It's doable. They're going to have to save some, though. It'll look just like when we were coming to the stage.
Absolutely could do it. I mean, Cofield and Schwartz ran it out, 43 laps on the stint the last time? And we're going to have an additional lap or two here under caution. I think it's totally doable here.
It is. It's just going to require, I can't talk when they're talking. But yeah, it's gonna require some patience for sure.
Going to be close here. Eric Hutt and Angela Horonis did not come back in to top off with fuel. They will take the green flag on the front row. Lights are out on the pace car.
So we still got guys shuffling to get the position here.
3 cautions, 14 lead changes. 2 of those were actual wrecks. We had a couple wrecks here tonight that did not throw or warrant a yellow. Matt Grenier, who went through the grass, and Yusuf Ghali also through the grass. So who's going to make it on fuel? Let's find out. Green flag is out, and already some fuel conservation there on the inside line. Michael Cole in the 67 got pinned in front. He was actually a lap down, but a lot of these guys came in a closed pit road to top off. I mean, this is all scramble for position, but right now, if you're Eric Hutton, you're out in front of this field. You've already got 3 laps on this stint. You're going to be on the line here.
Yeah, it's going to be tight, and he's going to be feeling the pressure. He's obviously going to have to save, but the guys behind him are going to have to save as well. Schwartz has a lap of fuel on him, as does Cofield, but all these guys are going to have to save to some extent.
Of course, Cofield, like we said, made it a full 43 laps. He's back here in some traffic, could probably afford to lift here in and out a little bit. 3 wide, and he is clutching it. I can hear it.
Committing to it early on makes it easier at the end. Oh, little stack up there. I think that was
48.
Schwartz in the wall. Yep.
Farmer had to check up there to not get into the back of him coming out of turn 2. They're going to make it 3 wide through 3 and 4. Horonis on the inside. Farmer in the middle. And now Cofield to the bottom. 3 wide again into 1. A lot of racing going on back here for just second position. Hutton loves what he's seeing in his mirror. Almost 4 wide off of 2. Farmer on the outside. What a move there by Farmer. He's going to take it down to the bottom. He had the momentum down the backstretch, but it can't quite clear the 48. This is the problem that Farmer had at the start of this race, running that inside, not able to keep pace on the bottom. Oh, and a check up there by the 48. He got loose in the entry. That allows Horonis to the bumper.
Yep, that back to 84 up there. I think we're going to recoup here.
Well, we're recycling the eye wall of the Hurricane through 3 and 4, more 3 wide.
Yeah, Schwartz had some sort of problem there. I don't know if he just wasn't comfortable on that top line.
Well, he's clutching, and that, I know, without having that engine brake, it's harder to run that higher line. Car is kind of like flying a kite into the corner versus something with some resistance.
Yep, that's extra interesting because the 84 should be on that same strategy, and he's sending it high and letting it fly right now.
Takes over the lead on lap 125. Running the high line now through 1 and 2. He's going to pull away from Eric Hutton, who has to be in save mode. I'm not hearing any clutching here from Farmer.
I've seen the 84 employ this strategy before. I don't know if this is the right place for it, but if I had to guess, in his little brain right now, he's thinking, I'm just going to build the biggest gap I possibly can, and we're going to see if I can drag these guys into making a bad decision with me.
But he can also stretch this lead out far enough to where he could save on the back half of it, stretch it out to a second, and then start using the clutch. Maybe save, you know, in a 5 or 6 lap route before they catch back up, then go back on the pedal. It's going to be cutting it close. Every one of these drivers here in the top 5 are on a different level of save mode. You've got a 2-lap difference here between Hutton and Cofield. You got Hronis back there who's pushing the issue. Pass for second now as Cofield goes by. They're also running the bottom of the racetrack, which tells me they're really saving.
And that maybe puts Dave in the position to see the strategy through. Like you said, maybe concentrate on saving on the back end, but I know when I've been in that position, it is much more stressful to do a lot of saving with less time. It's easier to spread it out over a larger span of laps.
I know you probably didn't intend to say it, but little brain was the thing that stuck with me. I actually had to mute my microphone for a moment there.
No, I said that absolutely on purpose because Dave is one of my best friends in the world. He lives a mile down the street from me, and that's just the way we talk to each other.
All right, so it's totally intentional there for the 84.
I don't make accidents in the booth unless I'm at Pocono.
Yeah, well, that will forever be instilled and overtake iRacing history. But here tonight, it's been just a jumble of different drivers. You can look here on the recap again. 15 lead changes. We have Matt Grenier up here. We've had Brandon Holder up here. Nick Mills getting the stage win. Daniel Cunningham led some laps. The 48 of Schwartz. Eric Hutton. Cofield, who had it just before the pit stops. And now Farmer. I mean, I think it'd be easier to name the cars that haven't led laps today. Silvers was up there at one point.
Yeah, that's objectively true at this point. Again, I've probably done more math tonight as much as I've ever done since my senior year of high school. But yeah, I think over half of the field has led a lap at this point.
Well, I didn't want to say there's any kind of mystical powers here on this 08 car, but I did crack open a Ghost just a moment ago, and it was a creamsicle. He's all the way up to fourth now, working the outside of Eric Hutton for third now as they go into 1 and 2.
And looking at my tracker right now, that 08, he is even a lap to the good on David Farmer and Jonathan Cofield. He's on his 13th lap. They're on their 14th, and a lot of these guys are on their 15th lap, so he can afford to give it a little more of that Ghost go-go juice.
That's what you need right now if you want to catch up. Big lead here for David Farmer. He's trying to force the rest of this field into a mistake. Jonathan Cofield trying to hold him off. And to the outside, John Schwartz feels he's saved enough fuel. He's going to get that position back for third.
Speaking of that 08, and again, I'm going to touch on it, but if you ever want to have a special experience, don't eat dinner, go to sleep, wake up the next day, drink a Ghost Energy, and you'll be hearing colors and able to taste your teeth.
Taste your teeth.
Yeah, it's a very strange experience.
It heightens your senses, I've heard. But here sitting with the, we do have to make the disclaimer. Only intended for persons 18 years or older. It's on the can, so. Let's put
that's
that
where they
out
get
there.
you.
That's
and
where
there's
they get
actually like no sugar in it, so I don't know. I think they might put ghosts in it.
Yeah, it is flavored with ghosts.
I think it does say that on the can.
Sucralose, I believe, is the correct terminology.
Sucralose?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with ghosts. That's too many syllables.
45 of Gali is trying to fight back here. He has been outside looking in with the damage his machine has right now. I'm surprised he's even competing with this top 5. But he is driving an entirely different line, hanging it on the outside. I think partial to the fact that these guys are saving, but the 45 just is bad fast. He has been every week. I just think he's too little too late. He's going to have to get another yellow. One of these guys back here saving fuel is going to have to make a mistake.
Yep, I could see kind of at the end of the straightaways, that 45 car doesn't have the push that some of the cleaner cars have. If it weren't for that 84 really picking up the pace, Yusuf would maybe be in position to really fight to get a lap back.
Rafael Hubi starting to pull away from this pack of cars behind him, up to second position now. There's another driver that I failed to mention. He's led some laps as well here tonight. And, you know, just to capitalize on how great of a race this has been, we still don't know who's going to win it. Who's going to save enough fuel? That's what it came down to.
I have no idea. And now that Hubi is on the scene, he is one lap to the good on Farmer and everybody on his schedule. So there might be a little more room for him to get back to that loud pedal sooner than some of these other guys.
I watched Hubi pull off some strategies previously here on VSPEED. Yusuf Ghali in the wall there, a little mistake down the backstretch. He's going to allow all these cars by him. How about Michael Cole hanging with these guys right now?
Love to see it, man. Love to see it. Got the Tasmanian Devil on there, Cole on the hood. This guy knows what he's about, and that's having a good time.
We have to check back here. Blake Hensley, who was involved there in that accident. He's still struggling with handling.
Here comes the 84. Come down pit road. Almost has a big mistake there. Looks like he gets woed up though.
At a moment there on the apron, it shot the car back up the racetrack. Was debating on if he was going to get it woed up in time. That'll hand it over to Rafael Hubi for some more laps led.
So now I think we've got some guys really emerging with a strategy that could take them to the end. And based on these statistics I'm looking at right now, Hubi looking great. One lap less ran than any of these other guys on this current stint.
I mean, you're looking at statistics, and I'm pretty certain that VSPEED's printer's running out of ink because we've had to toss out everything we've been looking at repeatedly through this race. It's just, there's one after another here with just a race-changing event. And that second caution has really set us up for what we're seeing right now because guys are going to go on that gamble. You had cars that came down a closed pit to top off. They're sitting back with Cunningham with the 84 coming down the way he had to. That makes me start to wonder, if you didn't top off, can you make it?
We're going to find out sooner rather than later, I believe.
Yeah, it's getting down to crunch time, and if you stretch this out too far, you will not be able to recover. You'll find yourself 2 laps down before the end of this thing. Cofield back up to second now. He's got Hronis on the back end, Daniel Cunningham in fourth, and Eric Hutton in fifth. But they're going back to the fight here for the first position. Another lead change on the board here. Cofield, I think, has saved enough. He's ready to go. Still in the clutch.
Oh, caution out. Where was it?
45 of Yusuf Ghali.
45. Let's see here.
Well, that changes everything again.
Yep, we're in a dash for cash now. I'm not certain what happened here. I think he
air
started
off
getting
the 45,
loose.
yep.
Yep. And then the 84 took him for a ride there.
I think to help prevent that car from hitting the wall, I think Farmer was trying to maybe straighten it back out, but...
Well, the drama is gone now. This is a race with pace for the checkers. Yep, this gets loose there. And I I don't know if our viewers have ever been to a tractor pull, but what Dave did there, I'd call that a full pull.
That
That's
was a full
300
pull.
feet.
All the way down the backstretch. But this leads him in. Rafael Hubi, the first one down pit road. You got the 58 of Jonathan Cofield. Quite a few different drivers in this top 10 were on a strategy that's completely thrown out the window. They had to come down. They have that last set of tires. They might as well take them. 48 of Schwartz, first one out. 2 tire stop. And Shutter's 2 tires as well. This could be kind of his reversal for this entire race.
Yep. You got to, at this point in the race, when you've had a run like Radburn has, you got to shoot your shot, take those 2 tires, and see if they'll take you to the promised land.
So setting up with the top 2 on 2 tires. Cofield the first with 4. Hubi, Horonis, Cunningham, Hutton, Mills. Every one of those drivers I just named has led at least a lap here today. We'll take another quick commercial break here on VSPEED. We're going to have a little shootout here for playoff race number 8, the final round of 8. We'll be back right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back live from Kansas. Green flag just flew. The 48 of John Schwartz leads him into turn 1 on 2 tires, just ahead of Jonathan Cofield on 4. It's a sprint to the finish here from Kansas.
See a lot of guys searching high and low. Nick Mills looked outside of Cunningham and then dropped down below him. Oh, Hubi in the wall. Oh, 44 pitting.
Oh, looks like
Black
maybe.
flag.
Yep.
I'm
the
not
start
sure the
there.
cause.
Dump the start.
Man. That's unfortunate.
And that's probably just a staple in the day for the 44 of Shutters. He took a gamble there to try to get some track position, but a jump on the restart brings him back down pit road, and he has to do a long hold penalty. That'll put him at least 2 laps down.
A little too antsy in the pantsies, unfortunately.
So now we're sitting here watching 4 tires against 2, and it doesn't seem to matter where Cofield goes. 48 car is pulling away on the exits.
Well, that's being in the lead. He can establish the line that he wants to run, and it looks like he wants to be at the top, which has been the dominant line all day. And Cofield has to react to that and take not as good of a line. It's going to be really hard for him to get there.
Plus that dirty air from the 48 machine going to make it hard for him to run the preferred faster line. So even with 4 tires,
Yep.
struggling here. Leads just over 0.3 of a second. Angelo Horonis in 3rd. Some passing going on back here. Nick Mills is back up to 5th.
I was about to bring him up, man. He said he's not good on the long runs. This isn't a long run. He's got a stage win. This could be a huge day in the playoff standings for Nick Mills if he can hang on here and get a top 5 or better.
He just needs to drive it like he planned in the short run. He can catch up to Eric Hutt and Angelo Horonis. That would be even better. 48 still holding on to it. 9 laps to go as they cross the stripe. John Schwartz with our 17th lead change of the day. Of course, 3 official cautions. What turned into a fuel strategy / stage win / fuel mileage to pit stops to green flag pit stops to cautions and who can make it to the end. And now it's a sprint to the finish. Every scenario that you could plan to have in a race has all happened here tonight at Kansas. And here we sit with Cofield just slightly faster this time around. Is it going to be enough though? 7 to go when they cross the line.
Yep, and looking back just a touch, we talked about David Farmer pushing the pace earlier, and he realized he was not going to make it on fuel. If only he had a crystal ball
And stayed out.
stayed out, he might be looking great right now, but that's one of the great what-ifs of racing, unfortunately.
So he brought it down pit road early after stringing out that lead to over a second. The yellow flag comes out after the 84 and 45 make contact. 45 gets loose out of turn 2. And that set us up here for this short little sprint to the finish. 48 of Schwartz starting to stretch the lead back out. A 10th faster than Cofield that time by.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Cofield to get to a line that's going to allow him to pick up pace. He wants to run up top, but he can't. The dirty air is too detrimental. Maybe action's detrimental, a la Denny Hamlin. But he's going to have to throw it in there on the bottom a few times and maybe see if it sticks one of these times. He is moving to the top, and with Schwartz running 1 lane down, he's still catching some dirty air, but at this juncture, I think that's probably the better line for Cofield there.
Well, it's when he gets to about exactly 0.3 of a second, and you see him run the bottom there in 3 and 4 with 5, now 4 to go. It seems like all that he gets all that ground in 1 and 2, and then he kind of gives it back in 3 and 4.
Yep, he just hits the wall. When he gets close enough, he's smart enough to know that he can't run 3 and 4 up top. Kind of splitting the difference to a certain extent. He did gain a
That's
little
pretty
ground
good
there through the middle, yeah. And it stuck. Did not lose on exit. we might have a race on our hands.
3 laps to go here as they cross the stripe. 1/10 of a second. Following right up on the back bumper in 1 and 2.
He's there. He's there. He's running higher than Schwartz is. Schwartz is now full defense, breaking the draft.
This
And
could
breaking
be
the
the pass
draft.
right here.
Breaking the draft hurt his entry there. And now he's at his quarter panel.
He's going to have to run the outside perfectly. This is not where Cofield ran the inside or the outside. He dives it into 1 and 2.
Schwartz is still there.
48's
He's
gonna
gonna
have it.
strong run on the exit. Not a great turn for Cofield there.
That's what I was worried about. If he can meet him in 3 and 4 doing that, he probably has it. But here on the outside now, wherever he isn't is where he needs to be. Big run coming out of 4 as they cross the stripe.
Huge run coming. He's gotta take his time. I would have liked him to stay in line there and throw this in 3 and 4. He's gonna lose a bunch on the exit here. He's gonna stick it up top. Might be too much of a gap here.
Gonna be a big run coming out of turn 40.
Big run.
Not gonna be enough though.
Not
48.
enough.
John Schwartz, victorious here today from Kansas. Starting in second, led 29 laps and a 2-tire call. Gets him the victory here tonight. What a finish there. Trying to let it unfold. Wasn't sure. Cofield had the faster car, but with the air in this next gen and the way you have to run Kansas, the defensive line was the one you wanted. When you only have to play defense, you can get a victory here at Kansas.
And with that, John Schwartz entered 34 points behind, number 8 in the round of 8. He's going to the championship race.
The last driver to make that round of 8 locks himself in for Nashville Super Speedway in 3 weeks.
It's a good feeling when you can get it done in the first round. For him, the next 2 races absolutely do not matter. He has punched his ticket. He's dancing for $1,000.
Post-race interviews with your top 3. We'll have those final results up on your screen. While we round those guys up, congratulations to John Schwartz and that short sprint to victory. He locks himself into that final 4. Quick commercial break. While we do so, you're watching the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series live on VSPEED.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we're back here from Kansas. The Overtake iRacing League has concluded its 160 laps here today. And I said it 100 times the wrong way tonight, but it's playoff race number 7. The first of the round of 8. The winner here tonight, John Schwartz. He went victorious with a 2-tire call. The challenger, Jonathan Cofield, he had him on the inside a couple different times. But after 17 lead changes and 4 cautions, one of those a stage break, the 48 is victorious. Angelo Horonis in his debut race will come home in the top 3. Then you have playoff contenders of Eric Hutton and Nick Mills. They're going to round out your top 5. Daniel Cunningham finishes 6th tonight. Rafael Huby in 7th. Brandon Holder 8th spot. The 84 of Dave Farmer, who gambled a little bit there. Again, the crystal ball, it goes back to him coming down pit road, but he'll finish 9th. And the 31 of Blake Hensley rounds out the top 10. .45 of Yusuf Ghali will be your points leader coming into today, but not a good night for him. He will finish in 11th. Bradford Shutters, another playoff contender, not a great day. He took a gamble, but got caught speeding on the restart. Had to bring it down pit road, 2 laps down for the 44. Michael Cole stuck it through, got 13th tonight. James Silver's playoffs starting to dwindle away. He's got 2 opportunities left to win his way in. He'll finish 14th. AJ Stravato 15th tonight. Matt Grenier led some laps. He'll finish 16th. Tough break with damage. And rounding out your field of 17 cars tonight, Lucas Lyons, who started 14th. Early finish for him, 82 laps down for the 77. So now that's our opportunity to take it trackside and catch up with your top 3 finishers. First one up here in the booth tonight, we have Angelo Horonis in his debut race here in the Overtake iRacing League. I mean, I've seen you race a lot here on VSPEED, Angelo, but it looked like you picked up right where you usually left off. You did good, you kept pace, and you come out on a podium tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. It's been a while since I've driven this next-gen car. I mean, with SNR and BTDY, we were running the Xfinity cars, so yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a learning curve compared, because not sure how much has changed with this car since, but yeah, racing was fun. I mean, near the end, I was kind of banking on it going green because I feel like I was able to save enough fuel to make it to the end. I didn't know what everyone else around me, what their situation was, but I'll be honest, first time here, I just want to make sure I didn't make any enemies, just race with respect. But yeah, ending up P3, yeah, definitely can't complain with that.
Well, I mean, after tonight, you got to take away that this was one of those races that even if you didn't have, a top 3 day, you did race with respect, and you got to learn some of these guys. There's a few names that you're familiar with, like Stravato, like Ghali and Mills, those guys that have been out here racing with you before. But if you wanted to break it down to one driver tonight that you were aiming to beat, was there anybody out there on the racetrack that you were like, that's my pace, that's the guy I'm gonna try to come out on top?
I mean, definitely wanted to beat all of them, but no one in particular. Like some of these guys, can't say I've seen before. Like I just do pretty much league racing lately, but yeah, I was able to pick up just some of their just attributes, I guess, when it comes to the racing. But yeah, I mean, some of these guys they were pretty fast. I'll give them that. So should be fun to race here on out.
Well, after tonight, I think you found a new home here for the 29 car on Wednesday nights. Congratulations on the top 3. Is there anybody you want to shout out while we have you in the booth?
Yeah, want to congratulate John on getting that win. Want to thank Yusef, my teammate, for bringing me into this league. Also, Nick, Eric, and AJ, teammates for tonight, and everyone that puts this league together in this broadcast.
Angelo Horonis, 3rd place finisher here today at Kansas Speedway, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Great, thank you.
That brings us down pit road a little bit further. Your 2nd place finisher of the night, Jonathan Cofield, and I believe we have Alex Healy down there with him.
Mr. Cofield, How are you feeling,
Yes,
buddy?
sir. Good, man. How are you?
Man, hanging in there. Take us through maybe those last 10 to 15 laps. Looked like you had a lot of pace. We saw you trying the bottom, trying to run right up against the wall. Looked like dirty air was what really held you off from being able to get right up on John. We saw you get there one time on the inside and weren't able to complete the pass. But kind of walk us through what you were trying to do there.
Yeah, I had told Daniel when that last caution come, I was like, well, if I'm gonna beat him, I need to learn how to run the high side because I didn't run the high side the whole race. Tried to keep it on the bottom. I think I jumped up high in 1 and 2 a couple of times, but 3 and 4 I didn't try the top all night because the bottom felt so good. Middle of the corner you could really get some speed, and then the guys on the outside, they'd get a little bit of run, but not as bad as you would off two. But yeah, I tried a couple different things. Overdrove 3 and 4 a couple times. Lost a little bit to him. Then I had to claw back, and then he started taking my line away, which kudos to him. Congratulations on the win. I just didn't know how hard to send it coming in 3 and 4 that last corner. I should have just followed him down there and hoped he'd washed up because I could have held the bottom a little better, I think.
Yeah, it looked like you were pretty good on the bottom. Like you said, you were comfortable down there, and this is something we talked about during the race. In a race of this length, you kind of get comfortable in certain lines, and you were making the bottom work pretty well, despite the top being preferred for most people. But outside of that, coming in tonight, you were sitting, looks like third in points, and with Yusuf and James both having suboptimal nights, we'll say, depending on how the stage stuff shakes out. You're well in the top four. Depending on how things shake out, I could see you second and maybe I don't think first place, but you're looking good heading into the championship. How are you feeling about a Bristol and Martinsville coming up?
Yeah, I came in tonight really wanting to win this race. I don't really like Kansas, but I really don't like Martinsville or Bristol. So, but yeah, I figured my chances were going to be a lot higher here than they would be at Martinsville and Bristol. But 300 laps going to be a long race on both of those. Bristol, I think, will be decent. Martinsville, if everybody can be patient, just going to have to avoid the carnage and see how we come out of this.
Yeah, which I did do you guys a favor. I dropped both those races down to 250 just on account of us having, 16 to 20 cars remaining on a weekly basis now, and 300 laps is going to be a lot. So you can take 50 off of that, so you can maybe rest easy as far as that's concerned. But overall, great run tonight, man. Loved watching you up there battling. Was hoping we'd have a real photo finish on our hands. But outside of that, shout outs to sponsors, teammates, anything you want to put out there?
Oh yeah, definitely. VSPEED for doing the broadcast. I see you up there with Mr. Cooper. Can't wait to go back and watch it. Of course, my teammates at Bandits Motorsports across and C2 across all the series. All the guys are doing awesome jobs. Alex, you and Dave, this league y'all put on. I was gonna say you didn't even probably have to drop the laps. I mean, we got some clean guys in here, top notch. But congratulations to Mr. Schwartz. He put on a hell of a race. And then SM Racing Products. Don't have a button box. Go check those guys out. You can put in code Bandits1 at checkout, save you a little money right there. And that's about it.
Heck yeah, man. Well, great job tonight and great job in this interview. I want you to know that Bradley said he'd be impressed if I got more than 30 words out of you. So I think we both did a good job.
I'm getting better. I'm just a country hick from Alabama. I'm getting there.
That's all right, buddy. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming out, supporting the league as always, man. We're glad to have you and all the Bandits guys around. Great job tonight. Can't wait to see what lays ahead for you at these short tracks coming for us.
Appreciate it, Alex.
There's your second place finisher. You did exactly what the task was there, and I appreciate that. But finally, that brings us to our race winner. And the strategy call to take 2 tires. He drove it up on the high line, played some defense, and ultimately comes away victorious. You had a couple challenges there, John, from Cofield, but you were able to hold him off there on the just taking his line away. It looked like that you mastered that. I talked to you pre-race. You didn't sound very confident, but you won your way in, man.
Yeah, first of all, I gotta give a shout out to Aerokinetics and all the guys over at that team on the road side and the oval side. Our Nürburgring 24 hours we just completed. I was working on practicing that the last few weeks. We didn't get past hour 1, unfortunately, in our race, and so I was just really, really depressed from that, hoping to get a good result in something. And it was even less about this race and more just really trying to get comfortable in a points position for the upcoming races, since I know Bristol and Martinsville can be so scary. So just to be able to get the win and put ourselves safe for those races, I swear when I crossed the line, the relief, man, I felt like I was tearing up for a minute just from like how much pressure I had on
The
myself.
relief.
So yeah, so just I don't know how close those last few laps were, but those felt like the longest last 10 laps as those tires are really starting to fade. And Cofield, I think he got alongside there in like the last few laps, and I didn't know if that high side was going to hold up for me. So just really, really happy this car was this fast, and we were able to just manage those tires enough to hold him off. I think 5 more laps he would have gotten us. So yeah, just such a gotta also give a shout out to Ritz Racing and all those guys. I know Yusuf had an unfortunate incident early on and got put like a lap down, but Eric and all these guys that we've been working together trying to find speed, and yeah, I think it worked really well. So I didn't know what to expect even in stage 1. I think I was like one of the few that took 2 tires and managed to come up through the field, but then I think Nick Mills, he managed to get the stage win with just staying out and saving fuel. And so I was really getting scared there near the end when we were going on that like long 45 lap green flag run, and people were really starting to save, and I didn't know if I was going to make it. So when that caution came out, I was happy on one end that we wouldn't have to save. On the other side, I was so far back from saving, like in 7th there, that I was thinking either I take 2 and just go for it, or if I stay 4th and take 4 tires, I'll be back here trying to fight through traffic, which I felt like I had the speed to go through, but it seemed so hard to be able to get past on the inside. So I went the aggressive move, and I honestly felt like I was getting inspiration from Scott Dixon. I've watched a lot of his races where he's not really there, but then he takes a bold strategy move and gets the win. I think that kind of happened in Long Beach as well a few weeks ago. So, but yeah, just it was just can't be more proud of the team. So.
I want to shout out to that car and whoever painted that as well. Very wicked looking paint job. Like it very much. It fits the next gen machine.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. I think Daniel Dennison over in the UK, I believe he does a lot of the work. I'm not sure about the paint scheme. I know there's a bunch of guys that work together on the paints as well. But yeah, appreciate the shout out there and hope to get some more finishes. And man, we're locked into the final 4. I totally forgot. I'm just so happy that we don't have to point our way in now. So
No
yeah,
better feeling.
No better
yeah.
feeling.
But yeah,
Well,
thanks again to VSPEED as well for the broadcast.
Well, John, I would ask if there's anyone you'd like to thank. You did it through the whole interview there. There's a collective team of many, many people that put it all together for you. Congratulations on locking yourself in. And of course, the pressure that this relieves, and you're going to go into Bristol and Martinsville with a little bit of a different mentality, I'm sure, that you can just go out there, log some laps, and keep the car shiny side up. Congrats on the win, man. And we look forward to seeing you here at Nashville Super Speedway for the final race, buddy.
Yeah, thanks very much. And also just gotta give a shout out to Yusuf, since I haven't gotten to talk about him. The fact that he swept like all around 12, so hopefully he can continue that momentum and do well. But just kudos for him for being able to achieve that. So.
Well, Ritz Racing still on point here, keeping the streak alive. Congratulations to the 48, and we'll see you next week, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
So that wraps it up there for post-race interviews. It was a phenomenal day. Any final thoughts from you, Alex, before we send them off?
Yeah, a couple things, which first, we will not see any of you next week. We are off for Memorial
is
Day
correct.
week. Yep. So if you're going out of town, taking vacation, whatever, if you're still with us, I hope you guys have a great time, whatever you're doing. Take advantage of the holiday. I know I be. Outside of that, everybody that's listening, whether you are a racer, a spotter, a guy that races in another series, family, friends, this is our first season of this league. We left another place where things weren't the way we wanted them to be, and I've always been told if you wanted to something done right, you had to do it yourself. I took that to heart. It hasn't been perfect, but I've enjoyed racing and interacting with everybody that's a part of the OI family. I'm just so thankful for everybody that's believed in us and rode with us along the way. We've had some growing pains, like I said, but we're closing in on the end of, in my opinion, an awesome inaugural season. And I think it's just, upwards and onwards from here. So, like I said, if you're here, thank you. Whether VSPEED, you guys have been awesome throughout the season. Broadcasts have been great. I appreciate you, Bradley, for asking me to come up here and do this tonight. I know I'm not maybe one of the greatest broadcasters that there's ever been, but I had an absolute blast doing it. I like getting up here and talking about racing is one of my favorite things to do. This has been awesome start to finish, man.
We enjoyed it as well, and we appreciate the opportunities here for the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series. We hope you guys enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. We go back live in 2 weeks. We're off for Memorial Day. I knew that and I forgot it, but we will be back live for the Truck Series at Iowa 2 weeks from Monday, and that brings us to our next race here in the Cup Series. That'll be at Bristol, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 Wednesdays from now. But for everybody at VSPEED, Adam Baker in the background doing all the things that he does, for Eddie Smith and Morgan Cook and Christian Hill, all the producers, Logan Threlkeld also joining that mix as well. This is Bradley Cooper, Alex Healy telling you to have a great rest of your week. We'll see you 2 weeks here for Overtake iRacing League. And see you Thursday, QSR, in the chase for the Cup.